This is the story of how Drapion managed to traumatize an entire generation of children. But first, you better hit subscribe before I hit you. This dude is Paul, and in my entire lifetime I have never met a bigger hater than this douche.
Being pathetic's nothing to be proud of. Pathetic. Pathetic. Just pathetic. You're both pathetic. You were pathetic.
But at least he was good for one thing, though, and that was Pokémon battling. As Ash's main rival for the Sinnoh League, he was always one step ahead of him and completely outclassed him as a trainer, until they had their final battle together in the tournament semifinals. Ash started out by absolutely dominating the battle, with Infernape landing a mean Mach Punch against Agron until he switches out to Weasel. And somehow manages to knock out Gastrodon with an Ice Hydro Pump, followed up with an Ice Punch. Little did Ash know, this was all according to his plan, because Paul whips out the most broken Drapion to ever exist. I mean, just where did this motherfucker come from? He was never seen before in any previous battles, and he just casually pulls this beast from his ass. Paul must have trained this dude from the pits of hell, because he unleashes a powerful pin missile, but Weasel manages to escape and sends off his own sonic boom. Drapion deflects the attack without even looking and proceeds to catch him in his tail. Weasel is terrified, Paul is staring like a maniac, Drapion is being Drapion while Ash is screaming in desperation. Paul commands Drapion to grip Weasel's pee-pee, until Weasel escapes by emptying his sack. Drapion spits out some devastating toxic spikes, which will be important later on, and then lets loose a deadly pin missile, which lands the knockout on Weasel. Ash sends in Staraptor next, to avoid the toxic spikes that were set up previously. Drapion then uses Pin Missile again, but Staraptor evades it pretty easily. Staraptor then charges at Drapion at Mach speed, but Drapion somehow manages to dodge it with ease, which is pretty freaking insane because that means he must have a reaction time faster than the speed of sound. He then grabs Staraptor in his claws, disrespects him with a nasty cross poison, and slams his dumbass into the toxic spikes, resulting in 2 separate knockouts within the span of about 2 minutes. Ash chooses Torterra next, and Paul responds with,
I thought so.
Ash should not have done that.
Yeah, no shit, Reggie. If you've seen any of my videos about Torterra, I think you know what's going to happen next. Upon entry, Torterra gets hit with the poison spikes until Drapion initiates the first attack with cross poison. Torterra swiftly counters with a well-used energy ball and puts him on the defense with a powerful leaf storm. Drapion defends himself and they both clash with their attacks. Torterra starts to put in work by lifting up Drapion and charging at him with speed. And even with the momentum, Drapion, the absolute demon, catches him in midair, despite Torterra weighing a whopping 683 pounds. Drapion knocks him back down to the ground, where Torterra charges himself back up with a synthesis. Drapion and Paul stand there and watch menacingly like the villains they are, until Paul commands him to put him out of his misery. Taking out 3 of Ash's strongest Sinnoh Pokémon until he fell to plot armor,